Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a little bit more of an in-depth deck profile for the brand of Despia. I've switched up a little things and taken out some stuff that was just bricking a lot, and I was just kind of getting frustrated in testing because I kept on opening it, and I'm like, this card's glued to my hand, I'm going to cut it. And that would be the Ito, the expensive card I was playing in last. I'm offloading it to get some of that investment back. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into a card by card. This is going to be a more in-depth card by card. I'm going to assume that you haven't really played the deck before, and that you haven't really you haven't gone super in-depth learning it or anything like that. So here we go. I'm on 3 Aliber. This card reads, if it's normal or special, you can add a branded spell trap from your deck to your hand. If a face-up fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, special summon this card, and if you do, negate that targeted monster's effects until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect once per turn, and you can only use one you can only use one of its effects per turn and only once that turn. Oh my god, that took way too long to get out. I'm still on 2 Tragedy. 2 Tragedy is really, really good. You could totally play 3. People are playing at 3, and it bricks less. I was testing a little bit 3. It bricks less, but I'm really liking the 2 at the ratio. I've kept it at 2 for a while, and I never really feel like I need more. So this card reads, if it's sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can add 1 Despia monster from your deck to your hand, except itself. You can banish it from your graveyard to reset a spell trap, which is really, really good. Now, what's cool about the Aliber is we can proc its effect. If a face-up fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, we can proc that by getting them to interrupt us, right? By doing stuff during their turn and trying to be like, hey, yo, I'm gonna activate this Mirror Jade, and then they're gonna be like, hey, yo, I'm gonna respond to that, and then boom, we can activate this. So it's not fully in our control, especially if they remember that it has that effect, but it does have that really awesome graveyard effect. Moving on in the Despia monsters, I'm on 1 Drama, 1 Adlib. I'm going Drama first turn far more than I'm going Adlib. I'm kind of trying to save the Adlib for a time when I know that combo is going to go off, because if you set up this combo where you're using Branded Red to fuse off Adlibdom and Tragedy with a Mirror Jade to reset its effect, people know about that now. They are ready for that, so I'm saving it more for the second or third turn, because this deck is definitely grindy enough to get into those turns. Moving on, I've got a Fairy Tale Snow. Fairy Tale Snow is super strong in this deck, and without the Ito, it's really, really great. I was playing 2 targets, 2 non-engine pieces to ascend. I'm no longer on the Ito. I feel like that card is really, really good, but I also feel like it's just not. Whenever I was going into it, I was noticing that I wasn't able to do anything else. And while floodgating your opponent like that is worth, I also feel like we couldn't play the deck to its fullest potential without it, so I cut it. Moving on into the Albaz package, I'm on 3 Albaz, an Albion, a Spriggan's Kit, a Tri-Brigade Mercourier, and a Branded Lost. I'm really loving this package. It's so good. 3 Albaz, we talked about it last video, is just so strong. So very strong. Discarding a card to be able to fuse off your opponent's monsters is just nuts. It's really crazy. Albion is like a Magician of Faith. Spriggan's Kit is another Rhoda, or a, what would you call it? A Stratos. It's basically a Stratos. And then Tri-Brigade Mercourier is a super searchable trap card, and Branded Lost protects us against card effects. Branded Lost reads, the activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. If you fusion summon a fusion monster, you can add 1 Fallen Albaz or 1 monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand. So it just kind of helps us grind really, really well, and I'm very much happy about that package. Now, I just realized that I didn't go over what Drama and Adlib do, so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Adlib reads, during your main phase, you can make all monsters you currently control gain attack equal to their level times 100 until the opponent's next turn. That's so helpful for going for OTKs. And then the other effect is, if it's fused from your hand or field and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can special summon a level 8 monster. I'm sorry. You can target one Despia monster or a level 8 or higher fusion monster. That's what it does. And then drama, if a fusion, synchro, or Xyz or link monster is special summoned except during the damage step, you can target an effect monster on the field, negate its effects. Really, really amazing. And then also, if it's fused off, it can special summon itself back. So I've been adding on a board that's 2 Masquerade, 1 Drama, and it's actually really difficult to beat. Moving on, I've got the Fright for a Patchwork Engine. I'm still on the same thing. Chain, when it's sent to the graveyard from hand or field, can search a Patchwork. Patchwork searches both of these. So I'm really enjoying this package. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be playing it. As long as these cards are legal, I'm going to be playing them, so. I'm still on the main 2 Cosmic Cyclone. Man, this card is just cracked with the Called by the Grave. It's like a second Called by the Grave, almost. Now, it stops only stuff like Ash, but, I mean, it still protects you against an Ash, and that's kind of nuts, you know? I mean, if you know that they have the Ash and you're scared, you can just do it, and it's not really going to lose you too much advantage. I want a Gold Sark and a Foolish Burial for consistency. I'm really just loving these cards. Wow, are they good. They never brick. I'm pretty much always going full combo when I draw them, so these cards are just great. Gold Sark banishes a card from the deck, and Foolish Burial sends one. Up next, 3 Branded Fusion, 3 Branded Opening. Now let me read Branded Fusion for you, just in case you haven't. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Alvaz as material from your extra deck, using 2 monsters from your hand, deck, or field as fusion materials. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for fusion monsters, but that doesn't really matter. Branded Opening. Discard a card, then take a Despia monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it in defense position. Also, for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. If a fusion monster you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So it's a Salamangreat Baylynx. It's a main deck Salamangreat Baylynx. That is nuts. Do you see how nuts that is? I mean, that just... it does a little bit too much on its own. Moving on. I'm on 2 Branded in red still. Man, this card's good. Target a Despia monster or Fallen of Albaz in your graveyard. Add it to your hand to fusion summon a level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your hand or field, but it cannot attack directly this turn. Keep that in mind, it cannot attack directly. It really does come up. But sometimes I don't even fusion summon. Sometimes I'm just adding something from graveyard to hand. So this card is really, really good for consistency, for grind game, for many things. 3 Allure, as long as this card is legal, I'm playing it at 3. Boy, is it nuts to banish a Tragedy or a Mercourier. It's really just a good card. Draw 2 cards, then banish a Dark. You can gamble with it. I mean, it's great. It's a really good card. It's basically a +3. Next up, I'm on 3 Super Polymerization, 3 Dark Ruler No More. I'm really loving this package. It's so good. I mean, the God Hand is opening any way to get into Branded Fusion, plus Super Poly, plus Dark Ruler No More. This is a more, I wouldn't say it's focused on going second, but this is more geared towards going second. And I'm just loving the Dark Ruler in the main. It's been working really flawlessly. I'm on 1 Branded Retribution. One play I've been doing with this card is nuts. You know what I've been doing with this card? I've been resetting the Guardian Chimera with this card, and it feels so good whenever I do it. Whenever I reset Guardian Chimera with Retribution, I feel like such a good player. You can do the full ad libdom Tragedy combo with it, and then reset the Chimera, and it's just, oh, it makes playing the Chimera at 1 feel so much more justified. Speaking of, moving on to the extra deck, I'm on 2 Lubellion. I really like the 2. Discarding a card to shuffle materials back into the deck and summon 1 out. Amazing in the grind game. Just like stupid good in the grind game. Guardian Chimera, of course, you're either destroying 1 and drawing 2, or destroying 2 and drawing 1. Either way, it's really powerful, and it's a level 8 fusion monster that we can special summon back. 2 Mirror Jade, sending a monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz from your deck to the extra deck to the graveyard to fusion summon, or I'm sorry, to banish a card on the field non-targeting. Really good. No, it does. I'm just gonna read the card. You can only control one of it. Once per turn, quick effect, you can send 1 fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material. Banish 1 monster on the field. Also, this card cannot use this effect next turn. If this card is fusion summoned, yeah. Don't forget about its Raigeki effect. It doesn't come up as much as I'd like it to, but just remember that if you didn't need to, like, use its effect, or if you didn't recycle it, then it does have that effect to Raigeki your opponent during the end phase. I'm on 1 Draco Stapelia now. 2 is just like a little bloating my extra deck, and I wasn't going into it often enough to justify playing it at 2, so I'm playing it at 1 now. And it is, if you don't know, it places counters on cards to negate their effects. It's not necessarily a negate in of itself. Its effect places counters, and it itself has a floodgate. So it's technically a floodgate, kind of not, but it technically is. I'm on 1 Brigand to search the Merc. I mean, it's good. You special summon it out, you get a material, you banish it off the Albion, and then search a card. It's really, really, really good. It also gains attack, but that effect comes up less. Now, I'm offloading my Aliber, or my Masquerade, so forgive me. I am waiting on 2 commons. This is going to be your Masquerade. And that card makes you pay 600 life points makes your opponent pay 600 life points to do anything, pretty much. I'm on 1 Quertus for the OTK. Card's really good. Don't forget about its effect to add an Albaz or Despia when it leaves the field. That's super, super important. I'm on a Garuda and a Mud Dragon for the super poly targets, and then of course 3 Albion, the main, like, just engine piece of the deck, I would say. Over on in the side, I'm on 3 Anti-Spell, a red reboot, really amazing. I'm also on the Harpy's Feather Duster. So just the good back row hate, remaining the Cosmic Cyclones for the Mystic Mind players, but these cards are just really, really good. I really like Anti-Spells, particularly because we lose to a lot of very powerful spell cards, so Anti-Spell is just really good. I'm siding the Branded Expulsion and the Banded Banishment now. They were bricking a lot. They just didn't really like being in my hand as much, and I would side them out for the Cosmic Cyclones for anything. But I'm no longer maining. I am no longer maining or even playing Edo in the deck, so these cards are just being sided out. 3 Ghost Ogre. This card's really good. When a monster on the field activates its effect, or when a spell trap card that is already face up in the field activates its effect, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, destroy that card. Just popping good cards. We kind of lack spot removal, so having this in the deck is very helpful. Zombie World Necrobanshee for the Fluandereeze matchup. We have a very, very, very weak Fluandereeze matchup, and so that's why I'm playing this package. 3 Mind Drain, probably the best card in the entire deck. I literally cannot live without this card. I mean, every time I activate it, it works, and it just kind of wins me the game outright, especially if I'm going first. I mean, I activate this card, and sometimes my opponent just like, can I read that? And then they're like, oh, okay. I guess that's okay then. So, if you don't know what it does, activate it by paying 1,000 life points. Effects of monsters in the hand cannot be activated. So no hand traps, no Foxy Tunes, no anything that special summons itself from the hand. Just, I mean, play this card. It's really good, particularly in this deck and in this format. Alright, that is going to do it for the card by card. I'm going to do some combo tutorials / test hands. So let me pile shuffle real quick. All right. Okay. Then we will cut. And shuffle. Awesome. Now we can cut it again, and we are all shuffled up. All right, this is kind of a good hand. We don't have any combos, but this is a good going second hand. So I'm actually going to draw one more card, and this is a very, very strong hand. I'm going to start off by activating Dark Ruler No More to just lock our opponent out of any effects that they have. And then I'll activate the Gold Sark. Banishing the Tragedy to search an Aliber. I will then activate Patchwork, Chain, Poly. I'm going to normal summon Search Branded Fusion. Now activate Branded Fusion. Sending an Albaz and a Albion. To summon out Lubellion, who will discard our second Albaz to shuffle back it and itself. Alright, and that will special summon out a Mirror Jade. I'm gonna activate Mirror Jade to send an Albion. And then set Branded in red. Or do we want to go... I think we can't really go... What I'm trying... You know what? Yeah. Just set Branded in red. Activate the Mirror Jade to send an Albion to banish the Aliber. And set a... You know what? No. I'm just going to keep it like this. This is a fine board. So we kind of did brick a little bit. It's kind of rough when we open some of these engine pieces, but we do have play for next turn. So let's go ahead and reset our board state and do another test hand. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'm gonna start by activating Fright for Patchwork. Adding the chain and poly. Alright. And then I will I'll activate Branded Fusion. Sending an Albaz and an Albion. Summon out a Lubellion. Discard one of the polymerizations. Shuffling back Albaz and itself. Summon a Mirror Jade. Then I'm going to activate Albion to send another. To send a Branded Opening. And that goes on the bottom of the deck. Normal summon Aliber. Go Branded in red. Set it and pass. Not the best board, but this is why I don't like playing the Tragedy at 3, because when you open it, it really just muddles up stuff. It makes it really difficult to play the game. But you need more than one of it. You need two. I'm going to go ahead and pile shuffle again. And when you play the Tragedy at 3, it's kind of difficult when it opens in your hand. That's why I personally played it too, because you definitely need more than one, but you don't want to see it in your opening hand. I mean, it's not bad to see it in your opening hand, because it totally does search stuff, but, like, I wasn't really able to, like, do much. I probably could have gone double Masquerade that hand, but I don't know if I would have been able to extend past that and have a turn the next turn. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is a pretty good hand. I'm going to start off by firing the Allure. And we will banish the Albaz. And then I'm going to activate the second Allure. And we will banish the Mercourier to grab a kit. Of course, it had to be one of the last cards. Okay. I'm gonna normal summon Kit and add branded fusion. I'm going to place the Dark Ruler no more on top. Going to activate branded fusion. Sending the Albaz and an Albion. Actually, I'm going to send a Snow. Go for the Albion. Banishing Albaz in itself for a Mirror Jade. I'm going to activate Gold Sark. Getting a Luber the Goober. Normal summon the Goober. Branded in red. Oh wait, no, I'm dumb. No, I'm not. I just misplayed. Alright, we're gonna reset this board state, so I misplayed. I have a thing I should probably mark that on. Boop. I've been kind of keeping track of all the test hands and when I misplay and whatnot. So I totally misplayed. That was a probably full combo hand, but I just am bad at the game most of the time. Dang, I cannot shuffle today. I'm dumb. I didn't cut. I'm going to start off by firing the Lure. Banish the second Aliber. I think I'm going to try and make double Masquerade. So I'm going to activate Branded Opening. No. I'm going to activate Foolish Burial. Go Tragedy. Go Drama. Add Drama. Normal summon Aliber to add Branded Fusion. Activate Branded Fusion, sending Albaz and Albion. I apologize if I'm not saying much. It's just kind of hard to come up with stuff to say. Still very new to this, so cut me some slack. Alright. That will summon out the Lubellion. We will discard the Albaz and shuffle back one of the Albazes and Aliber. For a Masquerade. Polymerization these two off. For a second Masquerade. Activate Drama's effect to special summon it back. This is a very basic board. It's really hard for our opponent to deal with this because they only have a few effects to activate, and they'd have to like board wipe us or do something like that, and we just have them on a clock here pretty much. So I usually try to make double Masquerade if my hands are bad, because this deck really only loses to itself. It really only loses to inconsistency and not being able to do things when you need to do them. Alright, I'm going to do one more test hand so you guys can kind of see how the deck functions. Maybe I will open the full combo. Maybe I won't. There's about a 40% chance that I will. I'm going to go ahead and normal Aliber. Add Branded Fusion. Activate Branded Fusion, sending an Albaz and a Tragedy. For a Lubellion, discard the Albaz. Add a Drama. Shuffle back the Albaz and the Lubellion for a Mirror Jade. And then I'm going to activate Mirror Jade's effect to send an Albion. Banish the Aliber to, in the end phase, set a Branded in red. Alright, that is just going to about do it for this deck profile. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I will hopefully be making more content in the future. Bye-bye.